on a chapter from political science, that is public administration. In that we discussed uh, the meaning of public administration, and we came to know the importance, scope, and how recruitment and training takes place, methods of recruitment, training, types of training. So all these concepts we discussed in the last class. So let us continue the lesson. So now we have to study about Union Public Service Commission. So in short form, it is also called as UPSC, Union Public Service Commission. You all might have heard about UPSC examinations and KPSC examinations. If you uh, have a desire to become an IAS officer or an IPS officer, so or KS officer, so you need to uh, take UPSC examinations if you want to become IAS or IPS officers. Uh, in Karnataka state, we have Karnataka Public Service Commission. So where if you want to join government service, you need to give your KS examinations for the high posts. So now let us understand about Union Public Service Commission. So uh, you all know the population of our country is huge, and if there is any vacancy in the government, everybody wish to get government jobs. So only the competent person should get the job so that he can give uh, good service to the people. So for that purpose, only capable people should be selected for civil services. And also there should not be any political interferences, and political pressure should not be there, and political power should not influence the selection process. So public service should be kept away from the influence of politics and personal agendas. So for that reason, Constitution provides for the formation of Independent Public Service Commission in order to select and recruit capable and honest civil servants. So Union Public Service Commission is formed as an independent public service commission. Why? That is to select and recruit capable and honest civil servants. So to recruit capable civil servants, we have Union Public Service Commission at the central, I mean at the central level. So it is provided by the Constitution itself. The commission is provided, this privilege is provided by the Constitution itself. So we have Union Public Service Commission. So what is the main purpose of this commission is to recruit for various uh, positions in the central government. So this commission recruits for various civil services, the posts which are there in different government departments. So this will be carried by the Union Public Service Commission. So what is the structure of Union Public Service Commission? Article 315 says that there should be separate public service commission for the center and the state. So we have a separate commission for the state as well as a center. So who appoints the chairman and the members of this commission? It is the president. Okay. So members should have served in government services. They will be in that commission. The tenure is 6 years from the date of joining, or 65 years of age. If they complete 65 years of age, the members will get retired, or if they complete 6 years of service in the commission, then also they retire. Any one. Then UPSC works independently. So no, neither executive nor legislature can influence on the Union Public Service Commission. So it works independently. So it is based in New Delhi. Then what are the functions of UPSC? So the commission functions under 320 of the Constitution. The following are the functions. Which are the functions? It conducts exams. So uh, it conducts various exams. Why? To recruit Group A and B officers of the central government. So it conducts different exams to for the purpose of recruitment of Group A and B officers of central government. Then it conducts interviews for direct recruitment. So interviews also conducted by this commission. Then it advises the central government on issues related to promotion and transfer of government employees. Then it also advises the government on initiation of disciplinary actions against erring government employees. If any government employee uh, behaves fraudulently or makes any error while performing his duties, so it advises the government what kind of disciplinary action must be taken on such employee. Then on the direction of the president advising the government any needed issue. Even the Union Public Service Commission, it also advises the government. So which are the functions of the of UPSC? One is conducting different exams for different groups officers, Group A officers and B officers, and conducting interviews for direct recruitment. It advises central government on issues related to promotion and transfer. It advises the government on initiation of disciplinary actions. It also advises government any needed issue. So these are the functions of UPSC. So as I told you, UPSC conducts exams for civil service. So you all must have dreams. So some of you might be dreaming to become uh, district commissioner, DC, or if any person asks you, what is your dream? I want to become an IAS officer, IPS officer. I want to become a police officer. Okay. So if you have that kind of dream and if you want to take up administrative jobs, then you have to get through in civil service exams. Then who conducts such civil service exams? It is UPSC or KPSC. UPSC is for central, KPSC is for in our state it is Karnataka um, Public Service Commission. So when can you take up these exams? Once you complete your degree, you can take up this examination. Okay, so all that you will come to know later. So if you want to uh, do or take up any such examinations and to take up good positions and you want to serve the people by getting a government by getting into government service, you all can definitely serve this nation. So dream big and follow your dreams. Okay, so now let's come back to the class. UPSC conducts exams for civil service. Even it conducts exams for forest service, technical service, and defense service too. So civil service exams include IAS, IPS, IFS, IRS, IAAS. So IAS means the full form is Indian Administrative Service. So if you take up this, you will be in administrative wing. Then IPS is Indian Police Service. So if you get through with this exam, you will be posted as a police officer. So Indian Police Service. Then IFS, Indian Foreign Service. Even you can serve in the foreign lands. So IRS is Indian Revenue Service. IAAS is Indian Accounting and Auditing Service exam. So these are all the different civil service exams where all these officers work in the uh, government different departments. Then civil service exams they are conducted at three levels. One is preliminary examination. After passing preliminary examination, the candidates must take main examination. If they get through even with that, then they have to go for personality test. Okay, then now let us know about Karnataka Public Service Commission, that is KPSC. So which is in Bangalore. This building is in Bengaluru. So even states have public service commissions at their level as per the direction of the constitution. So constitution says that both central and states must have public service commissions. Then in Karnataka we call the public service commission as Karnataka Public Service Commission. So it was established on 18/5/1951. The commission has one chairman and 9 members are there. So they are appointed by the governor. So if you compare with UPSC, the members are appointed by the president. Here the members are appointed by the governor. So again here also tenure is 6 years or 62 years of age. So whichever is earlier. So main office is in Bengaluru. Regional offices are at Mysuru, Belgaum, Kalburgi and Shimoga. So in these places you can find the regional offices of Karnataka Public Service Commission. In Kannada we call it as Karnataka Lok Seva Ayoga. Okay. So what are the functions of KPSC, Karnataka Public Service Commission? So point number one, appointing the gazetted and non-gazetted officers. It appoints both gazetted and non-gazetted officers. So state government through written exams and interview as per the directions of the state government and the concerned department's recruitment rules. So like assistant commissioner's examination, Tahsildar's examination, deputy superintendent of police examinations, like this in Karnataka state. So different uh, posts are there. So gazetted as well as non-gazetted officers post, and for all those posts, KPSC conducts written examinations and also interview. Then it conducts interviews for direct recruitment candidates, just like UPSC. It also conducts interviews. Then it conducts departmental exams for state government employees. So say state government employees need to clear the departmental exams. Sometimes even Kannada language, sometimes they need to pass to get promotions and all. So even such examinations are conducted by KPSC. Then advising government on initiating disciplinary measures against erring officials. This I explained so just now. So even your KPSC has the power to advise the government on initiating disciplinary measures on the employee who errs while performing his duties. Then it also coordinates um, various exams conducted by the Union Public Service Commissions in the state. So it coordinates between UPSC, uh, KPSC and UPSC. They both go hand in hand, and it conducts, it coordinates when UPSC conducts various examinations. So these are all the functions of KPSC. Now we have to understand about secretariat. So what is secretariat? So secretariat is the nerve center of the government. So you can call it as nerve center of the entire government's brain is in the secretariat. In the sense, uh, you all know government, all the politicians or the ministers are there in the government. They have to perform various functions. They have to look after the entire population, uh, and their term is temporary. But the work of the government goes smoothly without any disturbance, whether the government is there or not. Then who performs all these functions, and who exactly is the uh, nerve center, or who exactly is the brain of the government? It is the secretariat. So it functions as the brain center of the policy making. The central secretariat is a mix of various ministries and departments. So it has different departments and different ministries. All departments and all ministries are there in central secretariat. What is the main responsibility of central secretariat? The main responsibility of the secretariat is to aid the ministers. The secretariat assists the ministers, it helps the ministers. So it has the chief secretary as administrative head, prime minister as the political head, and it has all the personals who are working in the secretariat. They definitely have good knowledge and they help the ministers. Okay, so chief secretary is the administrative head of the secretariat. Then who is the political head? It is the prime minister. You can see the secretariat building or central secretariat where cabinet secretariat is housed, which administers the government of India. So the brain of the government we can call it as. So it was built in the year 1910. It is home to some of the most important ministries of the cabinet of India, which is situated at Raisina Hill, New Delhi. The secretariat buildings are two blocks of symmetrical buildings. So okay. Now, what are the roles and functions of the Central Secretariat? So, Secretariat is an organization that aids the government in fulfilling its aims. So, all the aims of the government are fulfilled through Secretariat. So, it advises the minister in framing policies. Even the Secretariat, all the employees who are in the Secretariat, they advise the minister while framing different policies. Then, Secretariat aids the minister in performing his legislative duties. It frames the regulations of administration. It analyzes the problems carefully. So, it helps in framing the different rules and regulations. It helps in performing legislative duties. Ministers have to perform their legislative duties, and all the work is done by the Secretariat. Then Secretariat analyzes the problems of the nation carefully. Then they also prepare, the Secretariat also prepares the budget, keeping close relationship with the finance department. So who actually prepares budget? It is the Secretariat, which is led by the finance minister, whoever it is. Then Secretariat works as the bridge between the central government and the state government. So it has to coordinate between both central government and the state government. So in nutshell, Secretariat is the nerve center of the government. It functions as the brain center of the policy making. Then if you come to state secretariat, even the state secretariat functions as the nerve center of the state government. So it includes the different departments of the state and ministries. So ministers are the political heads of these departments and the principal secretaries are the administrative heads of this department. So who is the political head? Who are the political heads? Ministers. So who is the administrative head? It is the principal secretary. So principal secretaries of the different administrative heads of the departments. Then the secretaries are usually from IAS cadre. The secretaries, they are from IAS cadre. They must have very good amount of knowledge and also ability, leadership skill, all that is required to perform the various uh, the different to perform the different tasks. Okay, now the administrative structure of the state secretariat is as follows. So it has principal secretary, then under him additional secretary, then joint secretary, deputy secretary, under secretary, associate secretary, and section officer. So this is the structure. Then what are the functions of state secretariat? The state secretariat is an advisory body and functions as follows. So what does it do? It is the Apex point of the state government and administration. It aids the policy making on all the issues related to the state. So just like the central secretariat, even the state secretariat aids the policy making on all the issues related to the state. Then it functions as the advisory expert committee to the state government. So uh, the what whoever the minister, before taking any decision, they definitely consult the secretariat. So who are the experts? So they are the advisory experts. They advise the ministers. Then it facilitates the internal harmony among the various departments and consolidates the various policies and programs of the government. Then it advises the minister in formulating draft of the bills and supports in formulation of rules and regulations related to financial discipline. So even it helps in formulating drafts of the bills, and it also uh, helps in preparing the budget. It prepares the budget and controls the public spending. This is also very important. Then the State Secretariat is the center of political and administrative functions of the state. So it is the center where all the administrative functions are uh, carried. Then we are at the end of the lesson. Last topic is law and order. So to live or to lead a happy life and a safe life in a society, uh, peace and order must be there in the society. There must be peace in the society where all must be free to express, to move, uh, to enjoy their all the rights. So to maintain peace in a society, law and order is of importance. Then who has to maintain it? So it is the duty of the state government to maintain law and order in their respective states. The Central Home Ministry has paramilitary forces under its command to ensure law and order in the country. So how does law and order is maintained? It is through the police force. Then we have uh, paramilitary forces such as Central Armed Reserve CRPF. Okay, then Border Security Force. This force makes sure that no encroachment will be made uh, from the borders. They safeguard our borders. Then Railway Protection Force, it safeguards the railways uh, system. Then Central Industrial Security Force, CISF. So these are the paramilitary forces which perform different roles to maintain law and order in the society. Then what is the role of police? So as I told you, police play an important role to maintain law and order. So state governments have a police force. So police department comes under the Home Ministry. Home Ministry is headed by a secretary who would be from IAS cadre. So here is the structure of state police. So first you will find Home Minister. Then to assist Home Minister we have Home Secretary actually. Uh, then we have DGP, Director General Police, who is the head of the police department. Then we have Additional Director General of Police, then Superintendent of Police, we call him as SP, then Deputy Superintendent of Police DYSP, Circle Police Inspector CPI, Circle Head, Police Sub Inspector PSI, Assistant Sub Inspector of Police ASI, Head Constable, Police Constable. So this is the structure of police. Okay, state police. So all these play an important role to maintain law and order in our state. So this is all about the lesson public administration, how the public works uh, is taken care, how the government performs various uh, functions. So it is only through the public administration where we have a separate um, wing and officials who are working for the government. So this is all for today's class. Thank you so much. Have a good day.